Single-Family Design Board meeting for January 29th, 2024 has begun. So our first item is public comment.
Oh, sorry, it's actually going to be a roll call here.
Oh, it's not on my number A. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair Lewis. I'll proceed with roll call. Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Garfietti,
Yes.
Board Member Sherry.
Yes.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, now public comment.
Yeah, so
Okay.
with that, we'll move on to general business and to public comment, and if you want
All
to
right,
take it away.
thank you. I'll start with public comment. At this time, I do have one speaker slip for Kirk Graydon. If you want to make your way up to the podium, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Shall I go?
Yeah, just
Timer?
state your name, and then I'll start the timer for you.
Okay. Kirk Gradine, architect, and I'm speaking regarding item A that was on the consent agenda today. It was, there was comments made and was continued to the consent calendar for next 2 weeks, the next agenda meeting. I'd prefer to have it heard by the full board. That's it. That's the extent of my request.
So Sebastian, let me know, is this something that we discuss now or that will be at the end that we have a motion? to
You
vote
will
on?
be able to discuss this item during ratification of the consent minutes. So that's going to be item C, and it will be for today's date, the 29th. So we can address those comments, but yeah, we have received a referral request.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments?
I don't have any other speaker slips, but we did receive written correspondence from an anonymous person, and that was distributed to the board before the meeting. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Lewis.
Before you move on, I had a question about that comment. I didn't see a comment, I just saw a photo.
Right, same.
Yeah, it was
It was an
just-
upside-down photo of a flagpole.
Correct, and there was just one sentence below it. We distribute anything that is sent in, so.
So even if it appeared like it was talking about another project, do we know what it's referencing? No, okay.
It said 351 La Marina.
Yeah, all they sent, there was an address in the subject
Yeah.
line, and there was one sentence below the photo, but that's all they sent in.
Okay.
So that's what was distributed, yeah.
I'm not exactly sure we're supposed to do it. If it's an enforcement issue, they should be, did somebody tell them to reach out if they wanted to file a violation?
It's flag it, yeah.
That they need to not, it's not our purview because it's not an item on our agenda.
That's correct. I did not reach out to them. That's not something that we do as secretaries. We just take in the public comment, and if they don't request something specific, then there's no forward action taken.
And as staff, I can follow up on the public
Okay.
comment and see what I can do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so our next item is approval of the minutes from our board meeting on Tuesday, January 16th, which I saw people going around looking at. Were there any
That was for the
comments on-
full board meeting?
Yes.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as drafted.
Second?
I think we might have had a couple minor comments.
Okay.
Board member
Yeah, I had a couple.
Sherry, do you want to cover those?
Do you want me to just go through them? On item number 1, at number 7, it says there's mixed support for the
For a
more prominent appearance of the entrance, perhaps with emphasizing the direction toward the front door. That doesn't make any sense to me. There,
How about perhaps by emphasizing the direction instead of with?
how about the applicant it is suggested that the applicant study the direction of the front door based on mixed support for the more prominent appearance.
The intent is not that they change where the front door was. It was more that by adding some sort of backing or some kind of visual direction. So right now it looks like there's just columns and you go straight to the backyard. But if they had anything that kind of helped with the directionality towards the front door. So if we have suggestions on how to rephrase that, that's why I'm thinking if it just says perhaps by emphasizing the direction towards
That's
the front
fine.
door.
I'm fine with
Instead
that.
of with, okay.
And then,
Would it help to put something in there that says that stops the eye visually to the rear yard?
yeah,
I support that.
that was mentioned in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on item 3, the first motion item, the majority of the board feels the height of the gate, fence, walls, and hedges would be better served to public views. I'm not so sure that that's. I'm not-
Yeah,
That
it's
was-
not,
I
it's
don't know, it
not
just
worded
sounds
very
kind of
well,
weird.
but, yeah.
Board Member Anderson made the comment, I just seconded it, but I don't remember. I just think it's a little clumsy.
How about would better preserve the public views instead of better served?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
better.
So we would strike the word be,
Yeah.
and hedges would better, and then served
Preserve.
would become serve or preserve,
Better serve,
Preserve.
preserve,
and
public
delete the word to.
yeah.
And maybe it says by conforming to the 42-inch required height.
Yeah,
I support
I
that.
agree. That was it for me. Did you have anything
right.
else?
So as maker of the motion, I would accept those modifications to the meeting minutes.
And I do as well.
All right, thank you, Chair Lewis. I'll proceed with roll call vote. Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Gerfeidi,
Yes.
Board Member Sherry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so let's start with the consent calendar for January 22nd. And I believe comments were emailed out for those as well, for the minutes.
Yes, correct. I emailed my edits this morning, and granted that those are received and applied, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. Maybe roll call?
All right, thank you, Chair Lewis. I'll proceed with roll call vote. Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Gerfeidi,
Yes.
Board Member Sherry. Motion passes.
Okay, and then if we can do the consent calendar for today, January 29th, and I haven't had a chance to look over, but I will also explain. So on this first one here, this is the one in question that we received a public comment. They have already built a 5-foot 4-inch stone wall that's right along the street. There's no sidewalk, there's no setback, no space between it. And my instruction to them, or motion, was to reduce that to a conforming height, and to return then to the consent calendar. If you think that it should go to the full board, the other items were in conformance and fine. That is kind of the main item of contention. So would you guys like to see that at the full board? I will say we also received a lot of public comment. A lot of people wrote in and also spoke up at the meeting. So in request of lowering or pushing back the wall. So.
Is the wall, does the face of the wall sit directly on right-of-way line or on
Yes.
street? Because sometimes
Both.
street is not right-of-way.
I know,
It's
but
one and
it's
the same
both.
in this case.
Did anybody confirm the construction of the wall? Because there was some question in the public comment that the wall might not have been built with a proper foundation anyway.
They didn't speak to the foundation of the wall.
I guess if they have
It's not really our
problems.
purview, right? It's-
No, but if it doesn't have a foundation and then they have to rip the entire thing out, then I guess it's a question of whether or not we feel differently about the direction.
Right, so if people on here would potentially be in support of it, then that's the only reason I can foresee it coming to the full board.
So I'll just speak for myself. I trust the chair's decision. And I understand that on occasion there are historical circumstances in town where something was built that predates current zoning and that needs to be considered as part of a larger application process. But in this case, it appears as though the people who have constructed the violation were aware of that. And so I feel like unless there's compelling argument given at the full board, that I would not be in support of the wall anyhow, and would therefore support the chair's decision.
I support the chair's decision as well.
Me too, yes, for sure.
I agree.
So we'll keep that on the minutes.
Yes, and just one clarification, and I would like to request just a small update to the continuance, not necessarily to full board or consent, but because of our deadlines for approving projects once a project is deemed complete after plan review, if you could continue indefinitely to consent to February 12th is our next available hearing date. So
So
just
instead of
continue it.
indefinitely, just say
Continue to date certain, yes.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you.
And then if you can scroll down to the next item. For item number 1, is it possible for me to remove the color white and just keep latte and cameo? Okay, I would like to do that. Okay, and then if you can scroll down. Okay, and then to the next item. Okay, you can keep going. I wonder where it says it is built setback, if it just says, let's see, I'm rereading on site. It is, maybe the new garage is built in its existing location. And otherwise, it looks good. Okay, so I move to approve with edits, the consent agenda for January 29th.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
All right, thank you, Chair Lewis. I'll take roll call vote. Chair Lewis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Board Member Kalas?
Yes.
Board Member Garfietti?
Yes.
Board Member Sherry? Motion passes.
That's what that was our item number 1 on the foothills. Yeah. Okay, so now any announcements?
Just one in, Ellen Kokinda will be reaching out to you this week to set up that appointment for vice chair and chair. Even if you've already been the vice chair, she'll still be wanting to meet with you guys and make sure you guys get the lay of the land. And other than that, no other news to report.
Okay, perfect. So we will move to our first item.
I have one
Oh,
item
yes.
for announcements, future agenda items. I'm wondering if if we could put a discussion item on our agenda related to broader opportunities to reach out in the community, maybe through the real estate community. How do we educate the increased number of people who are moving into town about the thresholds for development? I see a lot of work that's going on that appears to be unpermitted, some of which does not require permits, some of which does. And I feel like there's just a simple lack of understanding on buyers' parts as to when they do or don't need to engage either our board or the building department. And I feel like it's having a broad impact on the community. And I'm just wondering if we could have a discussion about the opportunities for partnership in a broader sense outside of the board and the city on that subject.
I'm open to that discussion, whether here or via subcommittee if other people are interested.
Yeah,
I
happy
think
to
that's
participate.
been apparent even in consent meetings as well, and the number of things that come forward that are non-conforming and they get flagged after they've been built.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be sure to carry that to Ellen Kokinda, my supervisor, and talk to anybody who might be interested in maybe reserving a date on the full board calendar or setting up some kind of workshop. I do encourage all of you are design professionals in your own capacities. I do recommend wherever you can in your own professional lives to educate where you can as well. So, but we'll see what we can do, and maybe we can set up something together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Does anyone else have future agenda items or comments? Okay. So now our first and only item. This is a one-time pre-application for 1921 El Camino de la Luz. Proposal to construct a new 1,200 square foot single unit residence with a 420 square foot detached garage on a vacant bluff top lot in the coastal zone appealable jurisdiction. The project requires review and approval of a coastal development permit by the Planning Commission. The proposed total of 1,620 square feet of development on a 35,770 square foot lot is 34% of the maximum guideline floor to lot area ratio. No final appealable decision will take place here. So welcome. If you want to make sure that your microphone is on, I guess you could pick either one.
Chair
And if you-
Lewis,
yes?
before we begin, I need to disclose that I went out today this afternoon to the site, just to take a site visit, and I ran into the applicant and asked him if I could enter the property to take a look at it. He allowed me to do so, pointed out a couple things. We did not discuss the design of the project, but I just needed to disclose that.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other?
Well, I'm going to add in, excuse me, that I was right behind Leslie doing the same thing.
Oh, my God.
So, doing our neighborhood compatibility look, but yes.
Okay.
And to be clear, Ms. Anderson and I was leaving as she was arriving. We exchanged salutations, and that was the only conversation that took place between the other board member and myself.
Perfect. Okay. And then I don't think your light is on, so there you go. Okay. Oh, and would you like to
Chair
start
Lewis,
actually?
I
Okay,
just have a
thanks.
comment about this project. So this is a very constrained lot on the bluff top, and actually you did see this a few years ago, but I think most of you weren't on the board, a different version of the project. But it's a very constrained lot due to the location of the bluff edge, which you'll see on the plans, and it doesn't provide a large enough area on the property to build a building within our coastal land use policy requirements. So we do have a policy, 5.1-36, which does allow a home to be built either within the bluff face, on the bluff face, or in the bluff top development area, or buffer area. So that's what they're proposing today. So there is an allowance for that, but one requirement is that it can only be 1,200 square feet maximum for the residents, plus a garage above and beyond that. But there is a limit to the size of the home under those certain circumstances.
I see here that it will go through coastal planning commission for coastal development permit. Does it not go through the coastal commission as well because of
No,
what you
it's,
just covered?
It's appealable to the Coastal Commission only,
Oh,
but it
okay.
does not have to go to them
Oh, okay.
automatically.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathleen, and nice to meet both of you earlier. Yeah, this, like everyone has said, it's 1,200 square feet. It is a very constrained lot. All sight lines were taken into account in going through design. Impact to the site and to any neighboring properties is minimal. The property that is directly above the subject lot, which is 1919, is actually owned currently by the same owner who's building the lower home. I know that that would probably be the one with the loudest objection. I did review on site with Laura Lee and Leslie. There's some issues that have kind of popped up out there over the years with nobody really observing lot lines. So it's of everyone's benefit, over there that the same owner bought them all, or else there'd be a lot of finger pointing and, a lot of conflict that's unnecessary now. We don't even need to go down that road. Retaining walls, things like that. Yeah, with this site, we do have, we've got structural engineers that have worked in the area. We're observing current and very modern technologies that are now in use and approved by Cal Energy to stabilize the home onto the lot. Helical piers instead of caissons, where they actually go down, so less impact, faster timeline, which is much better for the neighboring properties as well. Yeah, this will be a low-use property, and just so everyone here knows, this owner, I know it's only 1,200 square feet. I know Kathleen's heard it from the owner several times. He just wants this to be basically a hotel suite with an amazing view. And that's, the use will be minimal as a result. All right. Yep. So, I believe these elevations kind of give the best purveyance of the lot. As you can see, the sight line of the garage is tucked down in between being on site, which, are the photos uploaded in here from the application?
They should be at the very
very
end.
end? Okay.
Yes, I believe I attached them. If you want to do a quick scroll and double check, and if not, I can bring them up on my screen. Oh, good.
There we
Okay.
go, perfect. All right, so where the garage would be going is, as you can see, the white retaining wall in the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah.
There's a mouse right there.
Oh, okay, right there. This photo here, the garage will be going tucked right in about here. It does not have a green roof currently on it, but the main house does, as that's a sight line from this neighboring property right here. There's actually some windows right about here. So that's why we observed and tried to be kind of friendly with the green roof there. But the garage is out of that sight line, if they're looking out to the ocean. If they look directly at it, yes, they're going to see it. Actually, it's been a while since I took these pictures for the application. So this is looking down the driveway. Another thing noteworthy is the owner, this driveway, which actually kind of cuts over here a little bit. That's where the survey stake shows. This owner purchased this home, also this lot and the other lot, so he does have control over the entire driveway. So the access, which I know on these sites with flag lots can be, one neighbor is okay, the other one is not, so that's another thing that's now taken out of the equation completely. Let's see, aerial view, again, this lot over here, right, actually, it's right here. There was a home that was there, I listed that in the application, it's actually right here, there it is. It slid off into the ocean back in the 60s, I believe. But, from that, we've looked at all the geotech reports, we've had the surveys come out. They did the every 18-month update to the geotech, just seeing if there was any movement on the site. There hasn't been any, so we have that in the geotech that was submitted as part of the application as well. I'll go back to the plans. So this is obviously south, looking back at the home. This is the other structure that is owned. This here, you see 128.3, 128.5, sorry. That is the bottom of this roof line. This is slightly above it, I think 131. And, we're showing 10 foot in between. This is a cantilever deck system with a grade beam back here tied into with the caissons that go down to bedrock. So there's not much house here to kind of discuss. It's the general living area is basically a great room with small kitchen and just all the conceptuals that we have in a bedroom. But that's about all I have. Any questions?
All right, well, first we'll open it up to public comment.
All right, thank you, Chair Lewis. I don't have any speaker slips at this time, and I don't see anyone in the audience. We also did not have any virtual participants at this time, but we did receive written correspondence from Elizabeth Weber. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Lewis.
Okay, so we're going to start with questions. Does anyone want to go first? Yeah, okay. Go for it.
I had one question. You mentioned it was going to be a hotel suite. What do you mean by that?
Just, that's what the owner's envisioning.
As
Like the
for
small-
them?
Yeah, for him. No, not to
Okay.
Airbnb.
I thought you were thinking about Airbnb.
No, this is, he just really wants it to be a special, like, moment when he walks into the home with the view and everything like you would get at a Four Seasons or whatever,
Okay.
with that type of view.
Got it.
But
Thanks.
yeah, no, it's not gonna be a rotating hotel room with a parking structure, so.
Okay, so I actually have been to the site. It's been a couple years, though. I know there's a beautiful grove, I think of like Monterey cypress or trees. Are those to be protected?
Absolutely 100%.
Okay,
That main tree is actually the focal point of the view.
okay, awesome. And then just generally style of home.
It's just modern,
Okay.
yeah, just, I mean, it's almost a mix of, I would say, well, modern to contemporary. Obviously, by the amount of glass, Title 24, we still have to go through and make sure that we meet that. We do have, hopefully we meet that. We haven't run the actual calculations yet from what this is to that, but, yeah, it's modern with a lot of glass. A lot of
Okay.
transparency.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions?
Yeah, can we look at the site plan again, please? Preferably the one that shows the proposed development in green.
Oh. This one?
No, it's like a topographic site plan.
Oh, okay, so, sorry, I think, there you go. Yep.
Okay, so as I understand, the owner of this project also owns 1919 as identified on here, and then 1927? Or it's the one that's not a part where the house fell down?
Correct, yep.
Okay. But they do not own the house to the east, is that correct, which is up on the page?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
This one they do not own.
So can you tell us more, I know you told us a little bit about sight lines there related to the garage, but can you tell us more about the elevation of the green roof and the uses and views out of the home at 1909?
I don't have the exact elevation, but there are a series of 3 windows here on this corner that do look out, which is why we took the green roof into consideration. There is a wall that's been there for a very, very long time. It's covered in a lot of foliage, so it's been there for a while. That's completely blocked here.
Like a site wall that's outside of the house?
Correct, yeah, it's an existing wall that we're not going to touch. It's a property boundary.
Okay.
But that's overgrown, so you can't even see the house here. The only portion of the house you can actually see from over, like, let's say, where I was with you, we were standing about here, is these windows along here. Everything else is covered by foliage and trees and everything else.
And so do you anticipate that the green roof would be lower than those windows? Or
Yes.
the sight lines from those windows?
Yes, it will absolutely be lower.
Okay.
All right, will you pull up page 14?
Okay.
And zoom into the bottom photo, bottom left.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great reference photo.
Yeah, and if you can kind of show us there where the top of the green roof is.
Sorry. Yeah, it's got to go, well, the top of the green roof will be sitting about here,
So just a little bit above that white wall.
above the wall here, yeah.
Got it. Oh, okay, got it.
So,
Okay,
because the garage will be about here.
okay.
And you can see, actually, you can see those windows.
Right,
Yeah, right, literally right there. So.
okay.
Okay, and then could we look at the exterior elevations again, please? The hand-drawn pencil sketches? Okay, so that's a perspective. I think there was a southerly and an easterly.
There's your east.
Mm-hmm.
That window would be like here, I think. If you were standing.
Right, it's
yeah.
further toward, it's closer to the garage. Okay, and this is the south elevation because those cantilevered conditions, they turn the corner there. Okay.
Right. And this wall, we're expecting to be about 8 feet here as it comes down.
What did you say?
About 8 feet approximately. It's fully engineered.
So can we look at the site plan again then, please? The one with the green,
Oh, we want to go
Please.
over it again? Yeah.
yes.
There you go.
Okay, could you zoom in? I'm just trying to understand where that site wall exists and, okay. Okay, those are the only questions that I have. Thank you. Maybe plate height of the structure, of the residence, not the garage?
Okay. The residence is 118.5.
I'm looking for plate height from finished
the
floor
one
And
to.
you can make sure your microphone is near you, just so we get
sorry.
you picked
Yeah,
up. Okay,
these-
thanks.
Yeah, they're very sensitive.
Let's see, I don't know that we even have the plate height shown.
You do,
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
it's
oh, it's
10 feet.
118.5. I was right. Second guessing myself here, closer to the mic.
I think
So
the
10 foot plate
feet.
height. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. That was it.
Ms. Anderson, any questions?
Well, they're all kind of, yeah, related to grade and plate height. So if you could go over maybe the survey again, and do you know finished floors of the 1919 or the adjacent, and how high above is the structure finished floor sitting? It's 118, just give me a, I mean, it doesn't have to be totally exact.
I mean,
We can look at the survey together.
the interior finish floor is what you're looking for?
Yeah,
Okay, I mean, probably 3/4 inch buildup, so, I mean, what, 119 and a quarter?
from existing grade.
Oh, from existing grade, sorry. I don't know what that is. I'd have to go to the topo on that. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, it looks like from your site section that the 130, do you think that the house, the main residence and the property adjacent, I think that, what'd you say, 1919, sits probably north of that? And what about the neighbor as well? Like their first floors, or are they lower? Or they're probably
This
about
is
the
gonna-
130?
This one's going to be the lowest.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's that build up, 8? Yeah, it'll probably be 8 feet from that point to the plate.
Okay.
Okay. And we're comments only today, right? On the
Correct.
pre-app, okay. And then if you could scroll down, there is oh, that one, I think, that gives what? The main level of the house, 3 foot lower, entry at garage, 3 foot higher, and then this says an 11 foot to the garage. Okay, so top of roof, okay, and the other one is bottom of beam, basically, at 10 versus top of roof. Okay. Do we have front, we have setbacks, I know, the side is listed, is the front setback?
Yeah, it's showing a 6-foot setback on the other side.
Okay.
Can't quite tell if you're hanging over or not, or trying to meet it exactly on the enlarged
We're
plan.
inside of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we're inside of it.
Right. That's right.
There's just the roof, yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay, all right, and then, yeah, all your glass is back. It looks like mid-century materials, colors. Have you thought about any of that?
No, we're not there yet.
Okay.
I have the owner actually doing like a Pinterest board and a Dropbox to just, so we can get these ideas together. But general architecture, design, and site plan is where we're at this point.
Any other questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay. It appears based on height that the green roof right now is not intended to be occupied. Is that
No.
correct? Okay.
No.
And then any ideas so far on what would happen with this 8-foot tall wall?
I mean,
Landscaping or some kind of material?
Yeah, we can definitely disguise it in some way. It's out of sight
Right.
for any other person at that point. And, you know, working with this client, he likes his wood, so I would.
It might be okay,
I would
okay.
expect some cladding on the exterior of
Got
it,
it,
of the
okay.
shotcrete or whatever.
Okay. I think those are all my questions. If we want to start with comments. Back over here.
I think it's a nice project, and I think it's well-cited considering the constraints. I appreciate that the applicant has kept the height to a one-story. Maybe that was not a choice, but I think I like the house. I like the choice of architecture. I think that landscaping is going to do a lot to determine how this house is perceived from the ocean, because even though you can say that that's not, nobody's going to see it from there, a lot of people do. And I think it'll be really nice if it's landscaped properly and the choice of materials are considered carefully.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I guess I have a question for staff. Since this is a pre-application consultation, is there a helpful way for us to share comments? I know in general, I agree with board member Sherry's comments, so I don't know if it's helpful for us to list out individual or if there's a different way versus like if this was a concept review. Same,
Well, it
okay.
is a concept review, so as
Okay.
many comments as you can give would be appreciated.
Okay, I'll go next then. I agree. I think could be an amazing project. Appreciate that it's single story, modest size of home. Also agree that, it can be viewed from the beach if it's low tide. And the use of landscape, palette, material on the wall and the siding of the home will help just have it blend into the bluff.
Okay.
But overall, like I said, I think it could be an amazing project, so
Great.
I'm excited, yeah.
Glass?
I'm generally in agreement with all the comments made. I think, and I know this is just a pre-application hearing, but I think I would want to see some more information on the finished floor elevations and the uses at 1909 and also 1919. I recognize that the current owner owns 1919, but there's no guarantee they always will. And so I think that it's incumbent on our board and you as an applicant to consider the privacy relationships between those parcels, because eventually there might not be the close relationship between these neighbors that currently exists. Part of that is I would like to see a site section cut in a north-south direction, much like you have already, but that would include at least at minimum a profile of 1919.
Okay.
And I don't think I would be in support of any future guardrail or roof deck use for this home. I think they have plenty of deck, especially given the diminutive size of the structure. So if we were to see this come back with a roof deck, I would not be in support of that personally.
Okay.
And I agree with the other two board members that the relationship of landscaping and materials is going to either make or break their project, especially from a boat out in the ocean. And so the degree to which natural materials are used and man-made materials are hidden by or masked by landscaping, I think is important. So if they're concrete walls, are they wood? Are they grown out with something green?
Can I ask a question to that?
Sure.
Just so we can hopefully skip some steps by getting everything addressed in this phase and moving forward. Underneath the structure, like I said, we do have the helical piers underneath, and you can see there's beams that are protruding. Are you saying you'd actually like some screening below that? Some landscape screening kind of coming up to cover
Right, on those vertical walls, I think we'd like to
Well-
see some,
that one, but I was saying under the house as well.
Yeah.
probably both.
Everywhere? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting relatively tall from grade to the underside of those beams. And so, yeah, I would anticipate a desire to have some sort of vegetation there
Okay.
that would soften that and make this feel like it's anchored in the landscape a little bit more, or so that you don't look up and see a big poured-in-place concrete wall from the ocean.
Understood. Yeah, I know we have some steel bracing that will be underneath there, and, you know, those are things that, if we can cover up and address it, hopefully that makes it a little easier.
Great.
Thank you.
I agree with the other board members as well, and Leslie touched upon my item, which was, yeah, the site section. I mean, you talked to, it's tucked in, and the finished floor is X, and it's below, but we need a little more evidence of that for the upper residents, and I would like to see the adjacent, I think it's 909 with the windows. So just the sight line maybe drawn on the site plan to help us to verify that their view is not blocked.
Okay.
Yeah, and existing landscaping, conceptual proposed for the next step would be wonderful.
Something I've done on previous projects I've worked on, not in Santa Barbara, and I really appreciate this process. This is great. So story poles showing the corners of the roof from that window, different, would that be a benefit?
I don't think anybody said
I don't
that we
think we
needed
have
story
to.
poles, and we're still
Okay.
making our comments.
Yeah, one more comment left, but no, I don't think story poles are a necessity, but I
Okay.
do think it would be beneficial to the board to see some additional site photos that maybe even you indicate on there about the massing and where it's going to be, especially
Okay.
in relation to 1909. Did you have more comments before I go into mine? No? Okay. I am in general agreement. I think it's a very lovely project, and I think given the site, I agree with the height and stepping down. I think that works with the hillside. I do agree with Board Member Kalas, I almost called you Chair, statement about, right now it's 19 is a shared ownership, but really looking at that north elevation and what's going to be that property facade, and especially for the garage and the little bits that you see right there, and any sort of photos and understanding of your detailing of the garage, I think will be beneficial. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else to add, but I think that I'm in agreement with things said, so I'm going to attempt a motion unless anyone else has additional comments, because I've tried to list them all. Okay. So I move to continue the project indefinitely to the full board with the following comments. The board is in agreement that the project is well sited given constraints, and would like to see a site section that understands the relationship and general height of the house at 1919 in profile. The board would also like to see the relationship between the home adjacent at 1909 and their window locations and any impacted privacy concerns with the location of the proposed structure. The board is in support of the height and it staying as a one-story structure, stepping down from garage into the proposed dwelling. The board feel strongly that landscaping will be an important element and perceived by the ocean. Would like to see the proposed landscaping plan and palette. The board recommends natural materials and is looking forward to the color and material choices throughout the home and garage. The board would like to study, actually, can we move this to the comment that I made up above about the site section to include finished floor elevations? Okay. The board has made comments concerning occupiability. That's not a word. Occupancy. The board does not encourage occupancy of the green roof.
Yeah, or maybe using that as a deck.
Correct. Okay. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Roll
Right.
call?
Thank you, Chair Lewis. I'll take roll call. Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Kalas,
Yes.
Board Member Garfietti,
Yes.
Board Member Sherry. Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to say that we picked the right chairperson because Ms. Lewis tagged every comment that we have. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Well, and with that, our full board meeting on January 29th is adjourned.
Great. Thank you.